Thanks, Dan. Have fun.
Okay, tell me when
Let's
you're
go
ready.
disc golf.
Thanks, Dan. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
Four.
What was that sound I made in the last episode? Ah.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome
To
Those Two Chicks with a podcast. My name's Jordan.
My name's Emma Grace.
And we have special guests today. You ladies gonna say something?
Oh, hi.
What's your name?
Kathy.
Our mothers are here. So my mother is Kathy.
And I'm Mary.
You know Mary.
Oh, my mom.
Mary Moment.
Mary, you've been on the podcast a lot lately.
I know.
How does it feel to be famous?
I'm not. I'm embarrassed sometimes. Because I forget. I forget that I'm podcasting.
But we have big cameras right in front of, or microphones in front of us.
I know, but I get lost in my thoughts and then I just say stuff and go off.
Do you think she also has ADHD like me? We should get tested together.
Oh, I don't want to know if I have it.
I think I want to know.
I have fun within my own brain.
It is kind of fun to
That's
have a
fine.
scattered brain, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's never a dull moment.
No.
The
No.
merry moment. Now you need a song, Kathy.
Kathy.
My mom's probably not going to talk that much because she's shy.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you guys know, it's Mother's Day this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Not this Sunday. These episodes are going to go up next week.
Okay.
Were you not wondering that? I thouut you made a face. Oh my God, I can't.
I wasn't paying attention to when it's Mother's Day.
Okay,
what
well,
I'm
okay.
saying.
So we're having our moms
the
on. It's the 8th because
We
it's going
are
to be Mother's Day.
celebrating Mother's Day throughout this week.
So we got some mothers here,
Yeah.
I guess.
You're the mother.
You the mother. You the mother.
So we're doing our true crime. We're going to start with it. But
Yeah.
before, Mother Mary would like to make a statement about her last episode.
We have a
she
corrections
was.
corner with Mother Mary.
Oh. Well, on the way here, it's going to be a fast little story. I was listening to the podcast we last made, and I really have some language issues and enunciation problems. And I was driving here, and I started laughing so hard because last time I came here, I was only driving 40. Well, this time I was driving 30 because I couldn't see over my cheeks and my tears because I was informed that the enunciation of Iwo Jima, I kept saying, and I was trying to be respectful to the culture, the Japanese language, but I had the interpreter in my ear saying, Iwo Jima. And I can't even speak Spanish. I can't even do it right. I can't do any foreign language. I cannot.
Me neither.
I think it's my old ears.
I think it's our age.
I think it is. But the translation that I listened to, and I apologize if I offended anybody, but it was Japanese.
I really thought you were saying vagina when I first listened to
I
it.
thought it kind of sounded like Aunt Jemima. Oh, yeah. And I was like, what is she saying?
And that's what your dad was saying. Did you say Aunt Jemima? I was like, no. I was saying Iwo Jima, but I was trying to pronounce it like I'm cool because I didn't want to sound stupid on a podcast. Well, I ended up sounding stupid on a podcast. But you know what? That's me.
Well, you know,
I'm
the
not
good thing is
perfect.
barely anybody listens to us. So.
It's okay.
Your mother does it.
She really doesn't. Today was the first day I finally played my mom episodes of the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't even think she really understood what a podcast was.
I have.
You don't
yes,
listen to
I
them.
do, but I do not listen to podcasts. Oh, once again, older age.
She laughed though. She was going,
I was.
Hey, but wait a minute.
older age.
Older age, it can't even fit in this room because I'm older than you.
Did you true?
We have a lot of listeners who are 50 and over though, somehow.
We do.
We're really popular amongst the senior citizen crowd. We're here. And it's Emma's True Crime Tuesday. For those who are new, Tuesdays are our more depressing days. Kathy doesn't know. She doesn't listen to our podcast. So Tuesdays are our crime days where we're more serious. We take turns telling a story, and it's Emma's week.
Okay.
And then our Friday episodes are our fun days
Oh.
where we laugh
But you
a
brought
little.
us on the serious
Saturday.
day.
No,
Where are we at?
you guys are on both because we're Today's Saturday, ladies. Yes.
Yes.
But we're recording for next Tuesday and Friday.
Okay, so we're doing
Guys, I
two
told you
episodes.
about Mother's Day next week. What?
Okay.
Okay, so you're recording for Tuesday and Friday, so
Yes.
you get the serious and the...
You guys get to hear both. You're going to be on both episodes.
Okay.
And right now we're doing Emma's True Crime.
Okay.
Okay, we will listen.
And Emma just slapped her forehead like an emoji symbol.
Yeah, like,
We're going to make it through this. It's going to be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I was trying to get comfortable.
Well, not bite me.
You're my daughter.
Personal space. Personal space.
I'm trying to read. I got. All right, let's read this true crime. 6 feet, Mom.
yeah. We're all stuck on you. That was just went down the wrong wrong pipe. Sorry.
She's new to showbiz.
Yeah, very new.
All right.
It's
So,
about like that time that Mary stuck me in that play and I didn't know how to even act.
She was a biker bartender.
biker
Yeah.
bartender.
Oh,
And her
my.
leathers and their chains.
Oh my God.
She basically looked like a goth from the 90s.
I could not.
But as a
act.
50-year-old woman.
Couldn't act. Met my future son-in-law the first time when he came to that play. And
That's funny.
oh my.
Yeah, but you said you had fun and you to do it again, to ask you again. But you've said no ever since.
I think she's lying. I don't think she wanted to do it again.
No.
Well, okay,
Okay,
Emma.
sorry.
Emma was telling me a little bit about her story last night, and I'm really excited. So you all need to sit in your seats and listen, okay?
Everyone be quiet.
Maisie. Okay. Okay.
Maze.
All right. Now shush.
Are
Okay.
we ready?
Yeah, I think so.
So, my true crime story for you today.
Wait, is any of this gonna make me laugh?
I don't think so.
I try. I'm on the podcast. I can talk. You're a special guest. I'm a co-host.
Special. What are you doing? Mom.
You can't knit right now, Mary. You gotta
That is
listen.
a darling bag.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, it's cute.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
can't knit.
No, you're supposed to listen.
Well,
Yeah, well you're
You're like,
yeah.
Damn it.
okay.
all right.
That's what I heard.
She said damn it. She didn't say Kevin. Kevin.
Give it.
So my true crime story for you today takes place in 1927 in Detroit, Michigan. We are talking about Dr. Frank Loomis.
Ooh.
So we'll start at the beginning. Frank was a 28-year-old medical intern at New York Metropolitan Hospital. During his time there, he met 19-year-old Grace Burns, who grew up in New Jersey. Grace was a nursing student at the same hospital. Despite their 10-year age gap, they fell in love and got married in the fall of 1914. A few years later, the couple moved to Frank's hometown where he practiced medicine until they relocated to Detroit in 1924.
Back before when she said the hospital's name, didn't she say Neuropolitan? Ain't that an ice cream?
No,
That's
Metropolitan.
Neil.
Metropolitan.
Oh.
Good job, Maisie.
Yes, that's one of the best.
It is. I like the strawberry.
You know what? I pick out the chocolate.
Really?
You're not supposed
I
to
can
pick
out
the colors out. You're
No.
supposed to have them together.
Yeah.
Why don't you just buy a tub of strawberry or chocolate?
Because I can't find any
Oh my
good
God.
strawberry ice cream.
True, actually.
That is.
Thank you.
Strawberries unpopular.
I
Yeah.
love strawberry,
Me too.
but I love them all mixed together.
Frank and Grace lived in a modest home in the suburbs with their 2 children, 8-year-old Frank Jr. and 6-year-old Jeanette. Frank and Grace appeared to be living in a fairy tale romance. They never argued, and Grace just adored Frank. What?
What?
I keep thinking you're gonna say Frank and Beans.
No!
Okay, sorry.
Neighbors called them the perfect couple.
Oh,
On February 22nd, 1927. It's 6 p.m. and the family was having dinner together. After dinner, Frank went back to his office to work a little bit. He returned home at 8 p.m. Both of his children were sleeping and Grace was reading her book. Frank gave her $100 to buy a fur coat for the next day. At 9 p.m., Frank told Grace that he was going on a walk, which he often did. He took nightly walks
that's cute.
by himself.
Stress reliever.
Never mind.
Nightmare, I guess. After about a 45-minute walk, he made it back to his home. He quietly went through the house looking for Grace, and he found her in the sunroom. Grace was on the floor, covered in blood.
Oh.
In her coat?
No, she didn't buy it.
Oh, you're right.
Stop caring
Sorry.
about the coat.
Yeah.
So Frank rushed over to her and checked for a pulse but couldn't find one.
Oh.
Look for the
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Give him $100
Give me that $100 back.
Frank then went to the door and called to one of his neighbors for help. Their neighbor Mildred rushed over. Frank told her that Grace had been murdered and for her to call the police. Grace Loomis, at 34 years old, had been bludgeoned to death. There were several cuts discovered on her hands, indicating to police that she had tried to defend herself. The crime scene itself included a cushion that had been torn open and thrown out onto the floor. A rug was moved to cover up a large pool of blood. It was February in Michigan, but the furnace was running extremely hot. And one of the windows was broken outward with glass found outside. Blood was splattered and smeared all over the wall.
Wait, it was broken, so someone went outside?
Yeah.
Was he... Okay.
So somebody from the inside hit it.
I haven't... Okay.
Because sometimes when you break something, the glass can go in and out.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but
and outside.
But I feel like it would be more glass on one side depending on which way you tried to break it.
Yeah, that's the point there that they're trying to make.
Okay.
Maybe I should be a crime scene
Did
investigator.
they say how much glass was on either side?
No.
Good point, Daisy.
So, police took Frank to the police station for questioning while Grace's body was taken to the morgue for an autopsy. Police noticed that Frank's clothes were also covered in blood. Frank claimed that when he found Grace's body, he immediately ran over to her, and that's how the blood got on him.
Yeah.
For
You
24
know, that
hours.
would be, sorry, but that would be my normal reaction.
Right.
If
Yeah.
I seen someone I love, well, no, I guess that's not true, because when you fell down the stairs, I didn't want to.
Yeah, I broke my collarbone when I was 4. This is how.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
broke my collarbone. I fell down the stairs, and my mom's reading her book or whatever. She looks down, sees me crying, and then just continues to read.
Oh my
I
word!
my
I would be
dad
like,
to come
I would be like,
upstairs.
Lucas!
No, she didn't even get up.
She
No.
probably like, oh, she probably.
Yeah. Exactly, Mace.
Daisy. Exactly, because I was angry.
That's
Because
what I
you know what they do? They would put their toys in the darn stairway and then jump over the toys
Oh.
to go up to the room instead of taking what was in the stairway up
So
when they went.
I just got yelled at for not cleaning up, right?
Well, that's
so
kinda
my
your
mom
fault.
sat
It is your
down.
fault.
But here's the thing: I was going up and down the stairs taking care of my toys in the stairwell,
Oh.
right? So I got done, went back downstairs. There's no toys in the stairwell at this point. I'm going down from my room, and I tripped.
However,
So
I didn't see
Sucks
like
to be her.
where she started to fall, and I thought Emma was just practicing fall for theater or something. You know, she's
Right.
always a dramatic kid.
Happy Mother's Day. My mom didn't help me. That's what you need. My dad was livid. She's like, Mary, what are you doing? Go help her. My whole arm, it's broken. I broke my collarbone.
Oh my.
So when I
That
reincarnated, I would like to go back to that reaction of myself and change that mistake. That was a
And get to
bad
the end of my
Gary
book,
Norman.
then put it down.
Yeah.
I didn't
Right.
get her.
It was a newspaper for Pete's sake too.
Oh, man.
Of all things.
Oh.
Not even
a
an
good
appointment.
book.
I know.
So for 24 hours, they questioned him about the events of the evening, and Frank remained calm, and the details of his story never changed from his initial statement. His theory was that someone broke into the house and robbed Grace. The house was on a corner, and it was easy for anyone to see into the home from the street. Frank believed that maybe someone saw him give her the $100, and that they broke into the house when Frank left for his nightly walk. The theory made sense for police because the money was missing. However, I'd like to point out that Grace was still wearing 3 diamond rings when she was murdered, so the robber probably would have taken the rings as well, but maybe not.
Was that part of his story that he told the police? He's like, well, I gave her $100, so they'd think like...
Well, he was going through his entire event of the... Oh, sorry.
I just think
He
that's...
went through the entire event, and then they said, what was the $100 for, and...
That's just interesting to me that he mentioned that, and that's the
Yeah.
one thing that's gone. It's like, are you trying to create, like, I don't know.
Doubt.
Set it up. Yeah.
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 So, unfortunately, there were no other witnesses, and Frank was really the only suspect that the police had. The 2 children, who were fine, they slept through the entire thing. All of the neighbors, including Mildred, who called the police that night, said Frank and Grace were fine, Frank loved his wife, and they never caught the 2 fighting. Mildred said that the night of the murder, when she went over to his house, she noticed that the kitchen window shades were down, and they were usually up, so she thought that was unusual. But other than that, nothing. Frank said Grace put them down when they were making dinner because Grace didn't want people to see that Frank was helping her cook, and it wasn't proper for a husband to do that for his wife at the time, which I guess is the 20s or 30s.
Okay.
So that is actually pretty common.
My husband still doesn't help me cook.
Mine used
It's
to
still,
cook.
it's the 20s.
So a young couple, Ethel Bell and Thomas Blockson, were also on a walk that evening. They said they heard a woman screaming at the house around 9:10 p.m. That's what they told media.
And they didn't do anything?
Which, according to the coroner, Grace's death is between 9 and 9:10 p.m. Another neighbor named Florence said she heard a scream and the sound of glass breaking roughly around the same time. Another local named Gordon said on his way home he heard a crying sound. Police believe that might have been Grace's last moans before she died.
And Gordon didn't say anything. What are all these people doing?
It gets better.
Okay, sorry.
As police look at all the new evidence they have, they get another tip from Dora Loomis, who was Frank's mom. Dora said that Grace confided to her that she was afraid to be alone in the house. She was scared if one of Frank's patients came to their home. He was a doctor. He had a lot of patients. He had an office, but the patients were known to be there. Same thing, the doctors would come by too. So she just thought, I always feel a little uncomfortable because he has all kinds of patients. You don't know their mental state and stuff.
Right.
So at this point, police believed that Grace knew her attacker. If Grace answered the door, she would have let her guard down if she saw it was someone she knew. If it was a stranger, they would have snuck quietly through the house and took Grace by surprise. However, all the doors and windows were closed and locked, so they either had a key or they knew Grace. So that's what they're saying. So she either had to know them to let them in, and then they broke the window to get out. So, police really needed evidence. They didn't have anything, and Frank was the only suspect, but they had nothing on him either. So while they still had Frank in custody, they worked fast. They looked through his financial records and discovered that his practice wasn't doing well, and the family was actually financially struggling despite their appearance they portrayed. Grace had no life insurance policy, so to the police, there was no financial payout for her death either. Frank told police that if someone snuck into the house, he couldn't remember if he locked the cellar door that morning when he was in the basement, because that's where the doctors would go to meet him. That would be the only door that maybe Grace wouldn't. It was just a back door, so it was away from the house.
The doctors would meet him or the patients?
Doctors. Sometimes the patients.
Oh.
During the first investigation, police found 2 shirt buttons and a pile of soot and debris from the house furnace. At first, it seemed not that important, but then they found out that Grace saved every button. So did Grace just overlook these 2 and accidentally got it in the furnace, or had the killer burn some of their clothing?
She saves all the buttons.
They're not doing well, but this is also 20s, 30s. A lot of people would mend their clothing.
Okay,
They
I
cut
was
the buttons
okay.
off of coats.
Yeah.
Make sure
Okay,
that
okay.
save them.
Save buttons.
Coat had blood on it, but the shirt was clean. And police thought that if Frank killed his wife, he could have removed it and burned it in the furnace, changed his shirt, but then he could have also had time to burn the murder weapon. That they didn't find a murder weapon either, is the thing. So the police, with that theory, the problem was that Frank was still covered in blood, so it wouldn't have matched up So the problem with that theory was Frank was still covered in blood, so it wouldn't have matched up since he said he was holding his wife's body. And the coat was on.
Oh.
So it got on the coat, but not the shirt. And police were like, oh, so you burned your shirt. But wouldn't he have changed everything and burnt the suit as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think Frank did it.
The only fingerprints that they could find were from the policeman that night of the crime in the corner. So if there were any fingerprints, they're gone because the police touched everything.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
The community was split. Some just even started making crazy rumors, but a lot of people were upset that Frank was in jail for something he didn't do.
Oh, they arrested
So-
Frank?
Yep, he's in custody the whole time.
But they can't,
they can't prove it.
they still can't prove it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This case is nuts. So attorneys were called. They found out that the police never even looked into the claims that Frank told them. It didn't look good for the police because the media was following this case, and word got out that they didn't even look into the intruder story because all the windows and doors were closed, even though Frank said, well, what, did you check the cellar?
Right.
They're like, okay, sure. But they were so convinced that Frank did it, they were just like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
Oh, wow.
Like, they were just trying to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
So they never checked, and some doctors that worked with Frank said that they would come and talk to him through the cellar door, and patients were known to visit the doctor's house through there just to keep it separate from the kids and the wife.
Right.
They would have him use the cellar door because it was still connected to the house,
Right.
but it was just a different back entrance to make it a little bit more private. So with the media now on top of them, it just did not look good.
Right.
So on February 25th, 1927, the courtroom was packed. After a heated argument between attorneys, it was left that Frank Loomis would be released from jail on a $10,000 bond on February 26, 1927.
That's a lot for the 20s.
That's what I was just thinking.
The funds were provided by his friends in the community, and the hearing would be on that next Monday, but Frank could go home. The next day, Frank went to the home of a neighbor where his mother and children were. After their reunion, I would like to say, he was in jail on the 22nd, and he was denied seeing anyone except police. So he hasn't seen his kids or anybody.
For how long now?
About 3 days, 3 or 4
Oh,
days.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, so he hasn't seen anybody.
And his wife just died. That's pretty sad.
So I also saw that Frank and his mom didn't tell the children about their mom's death yet.
Oh.
They just told them that they couldn't go back to the home because of the broken window, but it's winter, so it's too cold to stay there. No idea how they explained why Grace isn't there, but they're like 6 and 8. They're
sad.
young. I think it was probably because they didn't know what happened yet.
Yeah.
Still, and like obviously with Frank's situation,
Yeah.
it was just kind of
Too much.
for so much right now, and they have no idea.
Yeah.
So Frank walks back to his house, but the door is locked, so he knocked, and the police had been stationed at their home, still looking for evidence. They allowed Frank inside, but told him to not take too long. Police said that Frank went upstairs and just grabbed a change of clothes and left. Just a very quick visit. On the following Monday, Frank was free from all charges. He was once again a free man. They couldn't prove anything. They have no evidence. All of his claims match up with the facts.
Right.
So there's still all those rumors of like, I heard him say this, I heard him say that. But when you go down bottom line facts, they just couldn't charge him for something that's not there.
Right.
So funeral arrangements were made for Grace for her to be buried back in her home state of New Jersey. Before Frank left for New Jersey for the funeral, he posted a $1,000 reward for any information of her killer. After the funeral, he came back to Detroit and got back to work. At the time, investigators started to look at other leads for the case. Soon enough, the law firm that represented Frank gave police an anonymous letter. It gave a new look for the case. The letter claimed that a woman died while Frank was performing an operation on her. They thought maybe the woman's husband, in an act of revenge, killed Grace Loomis.
Ooh.
But sadly, the letter turned out to be a dead end for police.
Oh.
The newspapers called this the perfect crime. No evidence, no leads, no suspects, nothing. However, on April 12, 1927, police arrested a woman named Gertrude Newell. But they didn't just arrest Gertrude, they also arrested Dr. Frank Loomis.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
It was stated that Gertrude was a divorced woman to a Detroit realtor, but she was seen with Frank on at least 2 occasions at speakeasies. She was also seen crying at a speakeasy when she saw that Frank's picture was in the newspaper connecting him to the murder originally. It turns out it was rumored Gertrude was Frank's girlfriend. He was having an affair.
Oh, Franklin.
So these two were arrested, and again on the same day, Frank was released on a $100,000 bond.
Oh.
Apparently, one of his friends mortgaged their home to pay for it.
Wow.
Gertrude was also released, but at $5,000. The hearing was set for next Wednesday. As everyone was leaving, someone in the courtroom remembered it was the first game of the season for Detroit. Both of the prosecutor and defense lawyer went to find the judge because no one wanted to miss the game. They found him, same situation.
Sounds like something
The
you would
judge
do.
thought it was funny, but they agreed to move it to Thursday.
Oh my god.
I agree with them.
I bet they lost the game too.
Probably.
Anything
Gertrude denied
Detroit.
the press of her affair. She also said she's never been to a speakeasy. She said that she did go to Frank when she was ill. She was one of his patients. But if she was seen with him, it was because she might have had tuberculosis at the time.
I thought she said
Turkey.
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 I love
Turkey.
turkey.
Sorry.
You got one in the freezer.
So, but she said that one day when she was waiting outside in the cold after going to the theater, Frank was driving by and he asked, because he knew her as a patient, he offered her a ride because it was cold out. She said yes, and they got lunch together, but that was it. So she denied it. He denied it.
That's still pretty scandalous for the
It
20s,
was-
though, to go out
Yeah.
to lunch like that.
Mm-hmm.
With a
Shame on
patient?
Frank.
That's
Shame
inappropriate.
on Frank.
So again, all those things were put down because they couldn't
HIPAA.
prove the affair. Yeah, they couldn't prove.
They couldn't prove it?
Anything still because
Yeah.
the affair was just a rumor as
Right.
well.
I know,
So-
but
The hearing began on April 28th, 1927. They brought up every piece of evidence, including some of the witnesses, including Ethel Bell, who heard the scream with her boyfriend Thomas. It seemed to the courtroom that Ethel enjoyed being the center of attention, and the courtroom caught on to that, so they go hard with these questions. It turns out from her story of knowing Frank and Grace, she really didn't know them at all. And it was even discovered she started dating Thomas when she was still married. So every statement that Ethel made to the police, they looked up with the media, and the times were off. She told the police 8-ish p.m. is when she was on the walk. But she told reporters 9:10 p.m. when it came out the death of her.
Oh my God.
Time was 9 or 10.
Ethel.
9:10.
Ethel's
Really
the
what
wash.
that means
Ethel.
is that they might have been out
Shameth.
that night for a walk, but they don't have the time. And that's when they realized all of these witness reports were just kind of feeding off of media because this was like such a perfect relationship, and now it's not. So they wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, now Frank really has nothing. Like all these witnesses, they called 40 of them.
Yeah.
And
Nothing.
none of them?
There
Oh, my
wasn't
word.
anything. So yeah, the trial took several weeks. 40 witnesses were called. It was a circus. Frank was asked to put on the suit that he was wearing that night he found Grace. He then was asked to act out the night when he found the body and everything. Apparently, the jury noted that he had tears in his eyes.
Oh, that's pretty traumatizing.
Yeah, he had to reenact like finding his wife and stuff.
That's sad.
It was noted that the police and detectives that worked on the case were kind of rude to him and would ask Frank a question but laugh at his response, even though nothing has changed since February 22nd, 1927. Police ruined the fingerprints and there's still no evidence.
I was about to say, so they're just
But
fucking with everything.
They were like,
Yeah.
literally, like, you'd be like, so what were you doing? And they're like, okay, sure.
Right.
And it's like, they just were so set on him, but they never
Yeah.
looked at any leads
It's crazy.
the entire time since February.
Guilty before proven innocent.
So the trial ended in late June, and the verdict for Frank was not guilty. Frank went back to his life. He still practiced medicine in Detroit with his 2 children, and his mom with him now. Sometimes the children would just live with the mom.
Oh.
With the grandma.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
okay.
eventually started to see someone, and that someone was Gertrude
Ethel?
Newell.
Oh,
Gertrude.
Oh, Gertie.
Gertie. Flirty Gertie, they called her back then.
Flirty
Yeah.
Gertie.
Dirty.
Yep.
So the rumors
Dirty
started.
Gertie.
Well, shut up.
We'll
So-
be quiet.
Rumors started again. That really bothered Frank. The affair with Gertrude was weird for people because they thought this wasn't true, and a lot of people were kind of indifferent, but maybe they thought they might have
Wait,
connected
I'm
or
sorry.
something.
Who was Gertrude again?
The
She was
patient.
The patient.
I thought that was Ethel.
No, Ethel was just the girl
Ethel,
walking around.
I got it,
that
okay.
lied. Yeah.
Oh, but
The
I'm
law-
sorry. There's so many old names.
I know.
The same woman that he was accused of having an affair, he
Is
now
now-
really is seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
a lot of locals made comments about his mental health and well-being, and that he confessed to the police of the crime, even though that wasn't true at all. People were just going crazy at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
But the main rumor was that he got away with murder. This hurt him a lot. Like, he took this hard. And his work was getting harder because no one wanted to go to him.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
Gertrude and
Ooh,
Frank
that's
started having problems with their relationship. In May of 1928, Gertrude told police that Frank threatened to kill her, and Frank one time knocked down her apartment door. He told the tenants he would pay for the damages.
Oh.
On May 19th, 1928, a janitor in Frank's office building discovered the doctor unconscious in the office. A rubber tube was inserted into his mouth and ran to a pump that had a lethal dose of gas.
Oh, wow.
Frank left 2 suicide notes, one for the press and the other for his friend Victor. He was in charge of like the symphony orchestra. I think he was friends with them.
Okay.
There was a third note though, addressed to the Detroit Police Department. It said, a newspaper article will be published in 24 or 48 hours explaining this action on my part. Please be patient until then. Gertrude took the news of Frank's death hard. She denied them fighting, even though so many witnesses said they did, but she loved him. They loved each other. And his letter to Victor was how much he loved her and hopes nothing happens to her. But Frank felt alone, and it was hard. All the rumors were hard for him. Gertrude left Detroit, and Frank's children lived with Frank's mom. She was worried how she would take care for them, and raised a fund to help. It was $1,000. I think that'd be roughly like $16,000 probably now.
It's still like nothing with kids.
Right. Unfortunately, she passed away a year later,
Aw.
so no one knows what happened to the children.
Oh,
And
sad.
this case remains unsolved.
Wait, okay, but what did the newspaper say? The 24 to 48 hours later, he said it would.
It is that he committed suicide.
Oh, it didn't say
or something.
like any.
So a lot of people were like, getting with the rumors, but with all of his things he did in his suicide note, he did write that he did not kill Grace Loomis. And why he committed suicide was it was getting to him, his practice.
Okay.
He couldn't take care of his kid. They were already financially struggling, and just everything was just going.
He did knock down her door, though. That was true, or was that a rumor?
We don't know.
It's just interesting.
A lot of rumors. So, anything, Gertrude keeps on denying everything, but we don't know.
I think he killed her.
I think it was a patient, or I think it was, what was this girlfriend's name? Gertrude.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was the one patient. He did a
that's a good one.
surgery. Yeah. The
Yeah.
husband lost his wife to Frank's surgery, and I think he snuck in.
I think
Said,
Maybe-
my wife, I'll take yours.
Maybe they just took the $100 quick to make it look like it was a robbery. That's why they didn't care about the rings or anything like
kind
that.
of weird.
Yeah.
they just
I
wanted,
still
and
love
you
the
could,
children.
you could spend that and nobody'd know it.
Right.
It just
exactly.
seems sort of,
Instead
I
taking
don't know.
3 diamond rings to a
Yeah,
pawn
trying to
shop.
pawn them.
The perfect crime.
It is.
I don't know.
No.
All right. Well, that was a good one.
Yeah, it
That was
was.
good.
Like
I think everyone was very
Very
interested.
good detective
We need to
work.
play Clue together sometime. All right. Well, I think this is where we should end it because we're a train wreck. But that was a good story. I really liked that.
No,
You're a
it
very
was-
good storyteller.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends if you want, and your mother if you can teach her how to listen to a podcast.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, almost. So yay, we're done. Bye.
All right,
Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
You gotta say it like
Thanks
a
for
little.
having us.
Oh my God. Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, sweetheart.
Goodbye.